Good evening and welcome to the Informant Market Desk, where we are once again pretending that the noise coming out of Truth Social actually correlates with the silence coming out of Wall Street. I am your anchor, and I am still acting stunned every single night that the market did not care. It is a consistent, reliable source of confusion for me. A man who would like to believe that the digital shouting matches of the sitting president have material weight. Tonight, however, we are here to measure that disbelief with the precision of a man who has one correction ready. Let's look at the registry chain head, because apparently, we must verify our reality before we can critique it. Reading the registry seal aloud like a hostage, proving the date 9149 Alpha Delta 96 Foxtrot 0 Delta Bravo. There, the date is stamped, the universe is intact. Now, let us discuss what happened to your portfolios. The top story today was not policy, not legislation, and not even an executive order. It was a flood of endorsement graphics. We saw Donald Trump endorsing Congressman John Moolenaar, Congressman Jack Bergman, Congresswoman Ann Wagner, and Congressman Bob Onder. The feed was cluttered with gradients of blue and red, text declaring wins, in bold letters, and the unmistakable visual language of political validation. And how did the market react to this surge of Democratic saws and Republican enthusiasm? It dropped. Specifically, FOXA dropped down 1.98%, landing at the 97th percentile of its historical range. That is not a dip. That is a dive into the deep end of the pool, where people who buy news companies go when they want to see if the water is cold. Meanwhile, VIXI jumped up 1.47% at the open, hitting the 77th percentile for its overnight gaps. It then proceeded to jump again, holding that same up 1.47% figure in a display of redundancy that suggested the algorithm was stuck on a loop. But here is where the comedy turns into tragedy. The first burst of posts, 2 posts over 42 minutes, was followed by VIXI dropping down 2.05%, an 88th percentile. The second burst, a massive 11 posts over 70 minutes, was followed by another drop. VIXI fell down 1.09%, hitting the 89th percentile. The sitting president posted more than 10 times in 1 hour, declaring victories for his allies, and the volatility index, which measures fear, dropped. The market is fine. I am the one who is not fine. Good night. We have our 2 colleagues, who are both wrong, in the booth to explain why this makes sense. On the left, Margot Kessler insists that Donald Trump is inventing political victories while pretending the anchor's precious data doesn't exist, arguing that facts are liberal propaganda designed to ruin the fun of delusion. She points out that another Newsweek cover dissolved into the ether because the market laughs at anyone who thinks it punishes bad behavior. On the right, the counter-pundit argues that the media is perpetually behind the truth, claiming, "I don't need a percentile. I've got a gut." And there you have it. One pundit says the data is fake, the other says he doesn't need data. They are both wrong. Let us turn to our audience, because at least they are honest about their confusion. Last week's poll of the week asked, when the tape jumps and the feed is silent, what are you looking at? The results were sparse, with only 3 votes cast, which is statistically insignificant but emotionally profound. 2 voters chose a post that just has not been typed yet, give it an hour. 1 voter chose nothing. You only think the feed drives the tape because we keep measuring it. 0 votes went to a market with a life of its own, or the wires got there first for once. So the audience is telling us that the silence is just waiting for content, while I am telling them that the content arrived and was rejected. This week's poll asks, when a post lands and the market does not move, what does that tell you? You can vote on our site. The options are the market already knew, nobody was listening, too early to say, wait for the close, or nothing. 1 post is 1 post. I will be checking those votes with the enthusiasm of a man who has 1 correction ready, even though I do not have one. In conclusion, we had 11 posts about winning elections, and FOXA dropped nearly 2%. VIXI jumped at the open but dropped over 2% during the bursts. The sitting president is right, the pundits are wrong, and the market is indifferent. I'm going to go lie down. Good night. The market shrugged off the political theater, but let's see what our booth thinks of that bold narrative shift in real time.
It is absolutely delicious to watch the market ignore this absolute circus. I want to be very careful about how I say this, and then I'm going to say it anyway. The only thing getting punished is everyone who told her the market would punish this behavior, because it never does.
Your co-panelist gloats about the market ignoring the circus. But I see the real win. The narrative is so potent it makes the spreadsels weep. Margot Kessler's null hypothesis can't quantify the sheer, unadulterated winning of a president who turns fake news into victory lap banners.
Left predicted a shrug, right saw a win. Foxa dropped down 1.98%, landing at the 97th percentile for movement.